damage in the body. So another alternative, instead of raw, if you're a little squeamish, is to soft boil them, or cook them very lightly where the egg yolk is still kind of slimy or runny. Sounds disgusting, but it's really not too bad. That's why I choose to put it in the protein shake.
So you sort of disguise it with a great protein, right?
Right. The other thing you can do too, you could always take a biotin supplement, and the other thing is you can consume only the yolk raw and then cook the whites. So I guess there's options there.
It depends on your personality type and how brutal you want to be.
Good point. The other thing is you were talking about health benefits. Another health benefit is there was an article published and showing that compared to the official U.S. Department of Agriculture nutrient data for commercial eggs from hens raised on pasture contained 1/3 less cholesterol, 1/4 less saturated fat, 2/3 more vitamin A, 2 times more omega-3 fatty acids, 3 times more vitamin E, and 7 times more beta-carotene. So that's just showing the nutrient profile if you get a locally grown, organic, pasture-fed chicken egg. So.
Wow. Now, I know we're talking eggs, but everybody is always talking about their little protein shakes. I personally do a protein shake regularly. We're always looking for what's the best kind of protein shake. So can you share with us that little tip before we move on to the other benefits of eggs?
Sure.
What kind of protein do you use?
What I use is I prefer the Defense protein powder, and the reason for that is for a couple reasons. Most people maybe think that they're allergic. If they're allergic to casein, that could be a problem. But because this particular protein powder is from grass-fed cows, and also they use a very low flash heating to produce the whey protein, there isn't a problem with that. And another thing is most people are concerned with having, if they're lactose intolerant, that there could be a problem that way too. But it's surprisingly not a problem. So because of the fact that they used raw milk as their main source, which has the available enzymes to digest it. So that's not for me, because I do have a sensitivity to milk, and it's because of the lactose. But like I drink raw milk, and the reason for that, it contains the enzymes to digest it. So I just wanted to mention that people who are allergic or sensitive can easily tolerate this particular whey protein. So that's
interesting.
Yes.
So they don't necessarily have to give up the benefits of whey protein if they're lactose intolerant, if they use the Defense protein powder.
Right, exactly.
And that's something that you can get online, right?
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, it's defenseproteinpowder.com.
That's correct.
defenseproteinpowder.com. I'm going to check that out, and I hope you guys all check that out too. So back to our topic of eggs. What else can you share with us? It's just such a fascinating, like I said, who knew that you can go so deep into the subject of eggs, but the more you share, the more questions I have for you.
Well, you're right, though.
Other than raw eggs in your protein shake, and you shared, soft boiling, what are some other ways to incorporate them into your diet?
That is a very good question, because we just, like you said, we touched on soft boiling and raw. Of course, you can add them to recipes, but of course then it's usually desserts, right?
Right.
So, I guess...
Excellent.
Right. I guess to just finish, to tie this all up, eating, eating healthy can be enjoyable, with all the food choices, and, anyone can choose to be healthy. An egg is just one example of a healthy food that you can actually use even if you don't care for eggs by adding them in different things like you were saying. What other ways can you cook them? Because of course when you eat it soft boiled, you're just tasting the egg. Right. So that in the shake it works out perfectly. So I just think that we have many food choices, so we can eat healthy.
So an excellent breakfast choice would be to add your raw eggs to your Defense Protein Powder every day. And you can get that at defenseproteinpowder.com. We're just about out of time, Carol. Thanks again for our very informational show today. And as always, I know you have just that last pearl of wisdom to share with us before we let you go.
It's just very short, sweet, and to the point. So, yeah. Enjoy what you eat and eat to enjoy.
Oh, I love it. Enjoy what you eat and eat to enjoy. Perfect. Beautiful. Well, thanks again. And if you enjoyed this show, please share us with your friends. You can also access the archives for our previous shows on Spreaker Web Radio. And you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/BioGirlHealthShow. Carol, thanks, and have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
Carol Newman is a longtime advocate for natural and healthy living, living a life that's close to the land in a small farming community in Richmond, Michigan. Carol is dedicated to helping women realize their full potential. She will help you achieve the best possible health and teach you to embrace your true inner beauty. For more information about how to live a healthier, natural life, visit biogirlhealth.com. That's www.biogirlhealth.com.